Welcome back, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Banter Boys, where we dive headfirst into the Premier League. There's been a lot of crazy stuff to happen over the past week after international break. Let's dive right into it with winners and losers. I'm just going to go ahead and go first. My winner of the week is Luton Town. You know, they were in relegation zone until some unfortunate things happened to some Premier League clubs. They battled away. They battled at home against Crystal Palace, with a very athletic side. Some probably the most athletic wingers and athletic team that might be in the Premier League. You know, Eze and just a bunch of those players. They beat them 2-1. I also hit a big bet on them. I picked Luton to win, so that's also a bonus as my winner. And my loser is none other than the Premier League as a whole. We'll dive into it later, but
You mean like the regulating body?
just Premier League, just all of it is a loser for me right now.
I guess
that's understandable.
That's fair. No, that's fair. That's
Yep.
fair.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I can go next if you like. Mine is really basic, really simple. But my winner of the week is Aston Villa. Finally made their position into the Champions League after a good win, which then takes me on to my loser, which is Tottenham Hotspur. And let me tell you, I'm so happy to tell you that they are my loser. I'm so happy. I've been calling this from the start. I think we all have. We've been wishing this would happen, and it's finally here. But you haven't, Benny?
Nah, bro. I still rate Tottenham for some reason. They just have injuries, but
yeah, but you can't be that team with no depth, and they have no depth. And the start of their demise happened against Chelsea, and 3 weeks in a row now they've lost. They play City this weekend. It's not looking good for them. So they're my loser.
We have been saying this though, Birchie. This has been a constant topic on pod. We have been saying it.
Yeah, we had Jonathan Luamba, which I hope you listen to this because I know you're going to love it. You had your time. You had a good solid 3 weeks, and I'm happy for you. But your time has come, Jonathan. And wish you luck for the rest of the season, mate.
This might have been the greatest 3 weeks of his life, if we're being really honest. Talking about a club that's
Time to come down. It's time to come down.
Like I said, Johnny, welcome back to Earth, brother. Logie, I can go next. I'm going more of an individual take here with my winner. This man has been criticized. He's been hated on. He's been saying he's just an awful signing. It's got to be Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz scored the goal this weekend for Arsenal. Maybe he scored again today in the Champions League as well. I know they won 5-0. So maybe he gets going a little confidence on the back. So he's my winner of the week. And then, unfortunately, Benny, my loser, Prem is corrupt.
Bro, no one can read that.
No, I can read it. Prem is corrupt.
Oh, yeah. Right. This goes back to Everton as they're holding up their signs in the crowd.
They were doing that.
I mean, Prem is corrupt.
That's great, bro. I love that.
Unfortunately, under those circumstances, Everton just happens to be my loser of the week just because they indeed. But yeah, that's my loser of the week. Sorry, Benny. I apologize. I really do.
No worries. It happens.
All right, love it. I'm doing individuals for both winner and loser. My winner is Kobe Mainu. 18-year-old United center mid. I know Benny watched the game. He was quality. It was his first game back from injury. Hopefully we can get him fit and he can be that piece in our midfield that can actually like connect passes and move the ball and just be good. And 18 academy product. You love to see it. My loser. No, go ahead, Benny.
What happens when Casemiro comes back?
I think the midfield three is Casemiro, Mainu, and Fernandes. I think you let Mainu. No, Casemiro the 6. Let Mainu kind of play the Eriksen role. Just get on the ball a lot, spread it around, move it like that.
I mean,
but we'll see.
You would just get rid of McTominay, even though he's scoring goals and.
If we're playing teams where we can possess the ball, yeah. I mean, McTominay didn't help us at all today against Galatasaray, so I don't know. He scored, but he didn't help us. So
I mean, Logan, the way this man just takes care of the ball and the passes, he was just so sure. I don't know if he had 1 foot wrong that whole game. And Everton's a hard team to
he
play.
was
That good
so
too.
composed.
All right, yeah.
He was so composed. It was unreal. At 18, I mean, and then we got a 19-year-old scoring the best goal maybe I've seen in like years. So, I mean, future's bright, hopefully. And then my loser got to be Reece James. He got sent off, but before that, Anthony Gordon was just destroying him. And all this, Reece James is the best right back in the world. I don't know. Is Anthony Gordon like a top 5 winger in the world? And he's doing that to Reece James? I don't know. And he gets sent off, and Chelsea gets pummeled. All that Chelsea momentum just gone. So
it was our worst game of the season by far. Yeah, there's no excuses there. It was very bad. Yeah, so I agree with you, Logie. I agree with you. Unfortunately,
Reece James is not the same anymore. The injuries, I think, have gotten the best of him.
I mean, he's still coming. He's still coming back. Give him a little time. He's only 2 games in.
He's also just like a little, like he's rash. Just don't get too. He got 2 yellows like back to back. Just focus, like calm down.
First one was kicking the ball away, and then second one there was just no need to just touch him. I mean, it was bad.
I wish he would just smile. You know, I don't think I've ever seen him smile. Like you're playing football in the Prem. Like be happy, bro. You go home with 300 grand in your bank account every other week. I'd be smiling from ear to ear if I was him. He looks miserable.
He does, Virtue. Just smile. I like that.
Just smile.
An angry kid.
I like that. Those winners and losers are all valid. A big loser is the Premier League overall. We talked about it, and I want to get into it later. But at this moment, we're going to talk about the title race. There's been some shift in the table as of late. And just to recap for you guys, right now, as it currently stands, we have – what do we have? We have Arsenal in first, City in second, Liverpool in third, and then Villa right behind them in fourth.
Yep.
Are those 4 teams minus Villa? Are those 3 teams the ones that are going to be chasing the title?
I think it's fair to say at least 2 for sure in Liverpool and City. I think they kind of go without saying. And then if it was me, I'd say Arsenal is a tight third. But then after that, Villa.
There's only 2 points separating first to fourth. Like Villa's on 28, Arsenal's on 30. So like Villa is in the race, but like long term, you can't really see them maintaining. I think Arsenal is going to maintain. They are winning all these scrappy games. They're not playing that well. If they can actually click and start playing well, like I think this could be the year. I don't know. Like I don't know.
I think this will be a closer year than years past, obviously, as we've seen so far. I don't know. I don't think it's a runaway with City. I do want to throw it out there, a dark horse, United. We've seen them do this before. Last year they came in second, where we think they're not playing well, but somehow they keep getting results, picking up points. I mean, if they're only like 5 points away come like April or March, they're not really out of it. So I want to toss their name to push for a fourth, and maybe who knows how tight it is.
Can we go? Or Logan, go first, and then I'm gonna go on Birchie.
No. I was just gonna say, like we're 6 points off the top. United, I don't think we're in a title race, but we're definitely in the top 4 race for sure. And with Champions League, the way British teams are moving in the Champions League, it's probably going to be top 5 that get Champions League. So we're definitely in that race. So I don't know.
Agreed.
I agree with that. But Birchie, here's my thing. When are we going to start taking Arsenal seriously? What more do they have to do? It's a valid question. I feel like this team it's a valid question.
I agree with you.
But for forever's sake, you just will not give them any credit. As a Chelsea supporter, I have to give them some credit. I'm just hearing you talk. I'm just like, What do they have to do to deserve your
I put
grace?
them at third. I put them at third, which I don't think is that terrible.
It's not terrible, but like we're talking contenders here. I think they're a contender this year. I think this could be, like Logan said, their year. I really do.
Yeah, well, so let's say we know Birchie's thoughts, but between me, Benny, Jono, if City doesn't win the league, who is more likely to, Liverpool or Arsenal? Like, who would you put your money on? Right now I put my money on Arsenal.
I'm going Arsenal.
I just feel like they can do it this year.
I put my money on Liverpool just based solely off of the experience of winning the Champions League and also winning the Premier League in the recent years. I mean, we've seen Arsenal play well and be leaders for periods of season last season, and then just rattle off 4 or 5 games in a row where they're not picking up the points they should. Until they get to that point of February and March and they're still playing like this and they're not dropping points to like a Fulham away, then they're contenders. But we haven't seen that yet. The pressure, like we said, it's still before Christmas. So
do you not think that experience from last year is the experience they need for this year?
I mean, I knew you were going to say that, but time only tell. You know, it's still there's no real pressure right now in the Prem. Like there really isn't any pressure until you reach February or March when things start to pick up. Games are coming heavy. Can you manage?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, personally, I think the pressure is pretty consistent. I mean, at some point, teams are going to start separating, right?
Right.
So you cannot drop points early. You have to stay consistent the entire year.
What I mean by pressure is, can they win a Fulham game when they know if they win this game they're going to top of the league? It might be a Tuesday, Wednesday night game after a Champions League game on the previous week. Do they have that in them to continue to play at that level? I don't know. With all the games up, we'll see.
Did they not just do that this weekend?
It's not the same. The pressure of winning the title is not the same right now as it is come the second half of the season.
Right. Yeah. But you're saying
you're both right. You're both right. They're getting points in these like tough games where they have to get them, but those tough games where you have to get points become a lot scarier when it's the 25th match week. Yeah, and City's only like 4 points back. Then it gets a lot scarier. But like you're both right. I think January will be big. If they sign Ivan Toney in January and maybe another center back just for depth, like that could change things.
I rate Arsenal. Like I think they have a team for sure. I would call them contenders. I just don't know if they have enough to actually get over that hump and win the Prem right now. I mean, they have the pieces, but can they mentally do it? Like the team on paper can do it, but can they get over that hump and actually do it? It takes mental fortitude.
I think they have the depth. I think they have the good players. I think Saka goes to bed every night thinking of, what if for last year? What if? That's what he goes to bed thinking. I guarantee it. And that's why I think they're title contenders this year, and I think they're gonna keep winning games, keep getting points. I mean, they killed it today in Champions League.
I appreciate you for bringing up Arsenal because we don't give them enough credit on this podcast. I know we have some avid listeners who are Arsenal fans, so I just want to let you guys know we hear you. Your team is doing well, and and hopefully y'all can continue. We'll see what happens. I'm not too sure, but we'll see.
We'll see.
But switching gears, we had some teams saying they might have been contenders. It might have been their week. They might have won the Prem for the first 3 weeks of the season, but there's no trophy for that. And that's, you know, I just want to set the stage. They are playing well. They had a new manager. Their striker left. We're like, they're doing all these good things. And then they're just dropping points ever since Chelsea got that result over them. Where do they finish right now? What's the outlook for them? I know they have some big injuries, but where realistically can they finish the season?
I think where they are, 5th or 6th. I don't think they'll make it back in the Champions League spot. I think the injuries is a blow, and it may be too much to come back from. I see you laughing, Benny, but it makes me laugh too, man. I love it. I really love it. But the thing is with Tottenham is the manager's come in and he had the new manager, like the beginner's luck type thing going on is how I saw it kind of. That's a bit of a play down, but he did really well. And then the Chelsea game really exposed Tottenham for what they are. He's bringing in tactics that they used to use in the 1940s, where all 11 men would try and run across the field at one time. Like it was World War One. And we're past that now. The Premier League, they watch film every week. Tottenham being exposed by the people in the back rooms. People are watching film on them. They're figuring out ways to play against them. The games that they were winning that were used to be easy, teams are now figuring them out because they know what Tottenham's about. And then the injuries on top of that is obviously just taking all of their good strengths out as well. So for me, I think that you see it with newly promoted teams as well. For example, I can't remember who it was, Sheffield United or somebody came up from the Premier League a few years back. They ended up finishing 7th or 8th in their first year. And
I think that might have been.
But then the very next year they went straight back down again or something like that. That's the way I see Tottenham is they've had a period of time where they succeeded. The Premier League as a whole, all other 19 clubs have now figured Tottenham out. And for the rest of the season, they can defend that.
I want to throw a caveat out there just because I'm going to read their injuries. We lost Perisic. They've lost Maddison, who by far we know has been one of the players of the season. Mickey van der Ven, their center back, is out. Bentancur was out. So they have a list of injuries, and I know you have to have depth in the Premier League to actually contend and do well. But when you have players like Maddison who completely transformed the team and he's out, it's tough. Like I don't think they were as good as we thought they were, but I don't think they're as bad as they're currently playing right now.
Yeah. And I just want to say, I think Birch might be a little harsh on him. I don't know if you guys watched the game against Villa this weekend. Like, they played really good football. I think Son scored 2 or 3 goals that were disallowed. And their starting lineup, they had Ben Davies and Emerson Royale playing center back. So, and they still played good football. They still were in that game, could have won that game. So, like, I think I do agree, like, they're out of the title race because Maddison and Van de Ven would have had to, like, they would have had to have their best 11 every game of the season to even come close. And obviously that's not happening. But I still think they could challenge for maybe that 4th or 5th, but definitely that 6th spot I think they can challenge for. And like, it worries me if Ange can do this with just one window. He's only been able to sign a few of his players. That's why they have no depth. Like, he's only had one window. The players he's having to bring on when Van de Ven's hurt, like, those are old Tottenham players that's not his team. So give him a couple windows. Like, I might be more worried about Tottenham. Maybe Johnny will be smiling again, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Birch, if I may, I completely agree with you. I think 5 or 6 is probably realistic. I mean, if you really look back at their schedule, I think they're very lucky to even be where they are right now, to be completely honest with you. Benny's muted.
I said, read it off to me. I know you're looking at it. Read it off to me.
Oh, no, I'm looking at it right now for sure. I'll even start. I got 3 games in particular. Arsenal, Tottenham. I mean, they shouldn't have gotten a point there. Tottenham, Liverpool. We all know how that turned out. They should have. I mean, 2 red cards. I mean, and they scored off an own goal at the end. Lucky points there. Who was the other one I was looking at? Oh, Tottenham, Sheffield. They won 2-1. Sheffield got a red, and they scored in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm being completely honest, I think they're lucky to be where they are. And I think reality has come back and blessed everyone in the city of London.
Can I just say, this may be the best thing you've ever said. I have never thought about it like that. You're spitting facts right now. That is so true. I didn't even realize it.
I'm being realistic here. And again, they got City this weekend at City, and then they got 2 tough games against West Ham and Newcastle. Like, where are the points coming from? Where are the points coming from the next 3 games?
I don't know. Maybe 10th in 3 weeks' time.
What's their Boxing Day schedule like? Late of December.
December 23rd they're playing Everton, and then the 28th they're playing Brighton at Brighton. Like, and then they got to go at Forest after Newcastle. I mean, it's a tough schedule. It's a really tough schedule. And with the injuries, I don't see where I'm pulling to Jake Zek. When he said Chelsea's going to get 1 point in the next win, I don't know.
1 point.
I don't know where Tottenham are getting points. I really don't. I
like
don't.
that, Jono. I like it, Jono. I like it. That's some great analytics right there.
It is.
But I have to throw this out there. While they're playing so bad, do they finish ahead of Chelsea?
See,
They're not playing that bad. They played well against Villa.
I do think so. Do I think there's a chance that if Chelsea could potentially find something, I think it could be close. I mean, if I was a betting man, I'd probably say no. But I am a betting man. But even if they lose this weekend and Chelsea get a result, they're 7 points behind. I mean, that's not that much. I wouldn't put money on it, but would I be completely shocked if it happened? No.
Okay.
I wouldn't.
Okay. Anyone else have anything to add on that? Because John broke it down perfectly there. I can't say anything more.
Yeah,
about that.
I just say this is their like you're 100% right. If they don't weather the storm and get to January with a decent amount of points, then yeah, it doesn't matter that Madison and Van de Ven are coming back because they'll be too far back. But if they can somehow weather the storm and get through it with a decent amount of points, I think Madison and Van de Ven will come back and they'll get a big boost and maybe they'll buy in January. I don't know.
Do they have an option to go get Ivan Toney? Because Ivan Toney in this Tottenham squad would be
that would be quality.
Crazy to me.
That would be quality. It would let Son go back to the left. Yeah, that would be quality.
Yeah, I think it'd be disgusting. More than Arsenal. I think he'd enjoy playing more at Spurs than he does Arsenal.
Well, yeah, and him going to Arsenal would kind of does Gabriel Jesus just go to the bench and is he going to be happy there? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I
don't know. That's all great. But there's just one elephant in the room that we haven't quite discussed yet.
Feel free, Benny.
Yeah, John, I was holding it up right now. It says Premier League is corrupt. If you watched any of the Man United Everton game this past weekend, you saw that there were pink placards being held by most of the fans in the stadium. That was because Everton received a 10-point deduction for breaking financial fair play violations. And I'm going to tell you what it was. So if you guys aren't familiar with it, you're not allowed to lose money in 3 consecutive years up to 105 million euros or pounds, my bad. And Everton lost about 125 million pounds over that 3-year window, which was about 19 million pounds more. So they were docked 10 points for breaking that violation. I want to tell you that this violation came in 2020, 2021 amongst COVID, when stadium tickets were being not sold, when viewerships were not being had the same amount of deals and money that was coming in as previously. We know the state of the economy was not the same. So money that they probably forecasted for did not come in. And the Premier League was very open about it. Everton opened up their books, showed them all. It's yeah, we are honest about this. And the Prem said, yeah, this one violation is going to get you 10 points deducted. So we were at 14 points. Now we're at 4 points. We're sitting at 19th place. We were a win away from 9th place, which is just absolutely shocking to me. For a club that has been through so much over the past 2 years facing relegation, and we know points are hard to come by. We really do. 10 points makes or breaks the season. I think it's unfair. I think it's unjust. I think it's unruly. I've been led astray. I've been hoodwinked. I've been bamboozled. I've been run amok. All of these things I feel right now. One violation is 10 points when we have other clubs who've broken over 115, and they're proven to break these violations. But since they have maybe deeper pockets than Everton, it just gets stuck in the rug. I'm gonna hop
for the viewership, Benny, do you want to emphasize on what team that would be for the viewership?
Yeah, for the viewership, you guys aren't familiar with it. Man City has broken over 115 financial fair play violations. UEFA found them guilty of it 2 years ago. They were on a 2-year match ban out of the Champions League. However, their deep pockets, their money. They got the best lawyer around, and they appealed it, and it just went away. And I think they were doing things more corrupt than Everton, boosting their financials, boosting their sponsorship deals, boosting their finances on paper, just to get more revenue in the door. And the fact that they were found guilty and then nothing ever happened is blasphemy to me. Like, I don't know what the Premier League can do to rectify that, but I think something should be done. I'm gonna get off my soapbox for a little bit, but that's how I feel.
I completely agree with you, Benny. I think that City need to be come down way harder than Everton too. Everton, like you said, opened up their books and were completely honest, and if anything, didn't do anything malicious. There's just the natural causes of COVID and a season out without fans there caused bad things. But City have gone out of their way, and I'm no accountant, but I'm pretty sure City are not that profitable really. Like they have like 300 fans. They don't fill out a stadium every week. Everton will fill out if they had a full stadium during COVID. With 300 fans, you're not doing too much. And Bellini's one of them. I know he's not going to the game. No, you know what I'm saying, though. So they must be boosting their finances. There's no way they're that profitable. I'm pretty sure I saw something come out. It's probably on Instagram or Twitter, so I don't know how reliable it is. But Manchester City with they had the highest revenue in the Premier League last season, or up until like a month ago or something. That surely is incorrect. I mean, Manchester United probably is number one still. They have the biggest fan base in the world. I would like to think Liverpool are probably up there as well. I mean, I'm not saying City are not top 3, top 5 maybe, but to say they're outwardly number one is crazy. So that's suspicious. And I'm just a fan. I'm not a lawyer looking into this. And there has to be something, and they need a point deduction for sure. At least 10 because of the malicious intent of what they're doing. And then you can people talk about stripping titles from them. That doesn't mean much to me. You can go back to Steven Gerrard. He doesn't want that Premier League. He doesn't care. It's done with. The Liverpool don't care about it now. We've got our one. Probably could have had others, but history cannot be repeated now. That's over with. Give them a point deduction. Give them heavy fine. And honestly, I would ban them from the Champions League because that's what they really care about. Hit them where it hurts. That's the way I view it. I don't know, Logan, Jono, how do you see it?
Yeah, I mean, I pity you, Benny, for sure. Like, it was a mistake and an honest mistake, and they fessed up to it, and they were very transparent and let the Premier League do their investigation, and the punishment is what the punishment is. But like, they've set a standard with that punishment being so severe for what it is. So if City is really guilty of all these things, and City's situation is way different because City's not cooperating. They're not showing their books. They're not admitting to anything. So it's just a different story, and they're going to use their money and their lawyers and drag it out as long as they can. And like, sadly, I don't know if they will be punished. But like, Birchie's exactly right. Like, I love when people say, like, talk to me about United, and they're like, you guys have spent so much money, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, we bring in more money than anyone. So like, we can spend more. And City necessarily hasn't spent as much as us on transfers, but their wage bill is the highest in the world. And like, how can they afford to be paying those wages when their revenue is not that high? It is there's such a big difference between an honest mistake and losing money in tough times versus just being fraudulent. So I hope that the Premier League can like actually get somewhere in their investigations and stick to the standard that they've set to this point. But I don't know if that turns into a tidal wave and starts hitting other clubs too. Clubs that maybe have spent over $1 billion in like a year. I don't know. Maybe somebody there gets hit. I don't know if it spirals into that, but I think something has to happen. I really pity Everton. But Benny, you guys will stay up. You guys will stay up.
I think so too.
Can you put yourself in the shoes of a Premier League player on Everton? Like you're at 1 second you're fighting for half top of the table. Within the next week you're back in relegation zone. And we all were on that team, and we lost. I think it was 6-7 games in a row, which was very. I mean, bro, you're going a month and a half of losing. It does something to the mental, right? But to go through a whole season of losing and fighting out of relegation, I mean, I can only imagine the mental fortitude you must have. But then to be able to do it again, but not because of how you're playing, but because of something you can't even control. That's not even your fault. Like I don't get it. Maybe the Premier League, we were guilty, but is 10 points really fair? Or could you have just say you can't spend this amount of money in a window? You have transfer window bans.
A transfer ban, yeah, something.
I don't know if that was the right way to do it. I know we have like 5 weeks to appeal it. I don't know what's going to happen, but they did set a precedent. If this stands going forward for one violation, I mean, I can only hope to see what happens for other clubs. I'm going to name Chelsea out there, City for sure, and there's others.
John, I know you have plenty to say about that.
No, honestly, I think what you guys said kind of said it all. I don't really have too much to say about it, just that Chelsea will be fine. But yeah, that's really all I got for that, boys. I thought you kind of described the situation well.
I do have one more thing to add, Benny. I think you're right with the type of punishment. Like Everton got the 10 points. That was their punishment. But if you look at the long-term picture here, the bigger punishment is that they might not be in the Premier League next year. So when it comes to Man City finally being guilty, giving them a point deduction needs to be enough to allow them not to be – it needs to threaten Champions League that year. Mm-hmm. It needs to threaten even Europa League for the next season.
Sure. Yeah.
Because it needs to be the level.
The penalty that they're giving Everton is so vast, like it can literally cripple this club. Like, you know how hard it is to play in the championship and lose all that money and not be able to get back. Who knows? Like, the fact that they're doing this and pretty much stripping the club, hopefully, I mean, we still have over half a season to get out of it, but if we don't, God forbid, the punishment was so vast to strip them of their Premier League stance, which to me is beyond remorse. I have no idea. No idea.
And it came right at a time where you guys were buzzing and playing really well, and it just
and then like we
have to bounce back.
In January, we're looking to make signings. Who's going to want to come into this? Like, it just hinders so much. So, I mean, I hope the boys in the locker room, JP1, can get them boys rolling. But I mean, I think we have the right manager under the circumstances, but it hasn't been fun.
That's fair. That's fair. Well, Benny, we're with you.
Cheering for you.
Yeah, we're with you. We're going to get through this together, I would say.
Yeah.
And if you, for some reason, have to buy the package for the championship, we'll be there as well for you.
I'll donate. I'll donate a few dollars to help you.
I'm not getting no Sky Sports membership, bro. Come on.
Sky Sports membership, it's out there. It's easy for everyone to get, but just in case you need it, we'll support you in that.
Hey, I love that, John. This has been your best podcast, John. You've been.
I appreciate that.
You've been on it today.
And you know what, boys, I'm gonna end it with a bang too, and I'm gonna give my prediction real quick, and I'd love to hear yours as well for Man City Tottenham this weekend. It's gonna be 3-0, 3-0 on Sunday to City, and it's not gonna be close. And that's all I have to say about that.
I'm gonna go 3-0 as well. He's on it, so I'm gonna go 3-0 as well.
I'll go next, Logan. I'm not going to say 3-0, but it's still going to be a 3-goal advantage. I'm going to say City 4-1. I think that Tottenham will scrounge a goal somewhere like they've scrounged the rest of the season. But they won't be able to stop Man City. They just won't.
Yeah.
I'm going to say – I'll say 2-1 City. I think it'll be closer. Spurs will have at least center backs playing this game. And I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'll say 2-1 just to be a little different.
All right. That's fair. Well, until then, thank you guys for tuning in, listening. Stay up to date. Follow us on Instagram at Banter_Boys, where we post a lot of social media content for your digestive appetite. But until then, next time, love.
Been a pleasure.